Hey Nintendo fans, I'm TheJWittz, and welcome to the next Nintendo Top 10. It's Valentine's Day, love is in the air, and I thought what better way to celebrate this corporate-created holiday than taking a look at my top 10 Nintendo couples. Let's check it out.
Number 10. Mario and Peach. Oh, Mario and Peach. While they certainly win the award for longest relationship, it's pretty tough to even classify what Mario and Peach have as anything close to love. Even the littlest of children know how the story goes. Peach gets kidnapped, Mario saves her, Mario gets a kiss of some sort on the nose, cheek, hat, face, really anywhere but the lips, or in some instances he gets some baked goods. Except sometimes the girl isn't even Peach. And one time Peach saved Mario by crying really hard, and then sometimes they're just beating the crap out of each other. Altogether, Peach and Mario are basically just Chris Brown and Rihanna. They're a popular relationship, but it never quite seems like they have it all together. Number 9. Ryu and Irene from Ninja Gaiden. Ryu and Irene are an unlikely couple. One's a CIA agent, the other a ninja. They mate exactly like you'd expect, with her shooting him in the back of the head with a tranquilizer dart. While she mostly becomes damsel in distress fodder toward the end of the original Ninja Gaiden trilogy, the moment where she abandons her orders to kill Ryu in order to be with him was still pretty touching. It's not often you see two deadly killers make such good friends. You know, without killing each other. Except that one time in the third game where he kills her and oh, no, wait, it was just a clone. Oh, wait, she's not actually dead. Yeah, moving on. Number 8. Phyllis, Pelly, and Pete. Who knew that a game setting as adorable as Animal Crossing brought with it the dramatic love triangle of the century? There are 3 main pelicans that help run Town Hall in each game. The happy-go-lucky Pelly, the get-out-of-my-face grouchy Phyllis, and the mailman Pete. Pelly loves Pete, even to the point of yelling at you if you shoot him out of the sky. Pete and Pelly are both happy campers, and you'd think they'd make a cute couple, but in a shocking twist, Pete doesn't want anything to do with her. He actually loves Phyllis. But even that unlikely relationship can't get off the ground because Phyllis can't stand the man, with rumors flying around that he's actually super creepy and stalkerish towards her. So at the end of the day, the only true winner here is us, because watching love triangles between pelicans is hilarious. Number 7. Anjou and Cafe. The Anjou and Cafe side quest is by far the most extensive, draining, and romantic side quest over the course of Majora's Mask, and possibly the Legend of Zelda franchise as a whole. These star-crossed lovers are set to be married, but due to Skull Kid's black magic, Cafe has been transformed into a child. The time it takes to reunite them involves an entire 3-day cycle, and I don't know if it was just because the quest is so darn hard, but completing it always made this relationship memorable for me. Even though the world is ending, Anjou waits for her love no matter what. Once finally reunited, despite their ill fate, Anjou and Cafe embrace and remain together for the end of the earth. It's a touching scene, and if you beat the game, their relationship is just a little less depressing. Number 6. Link and Zelda in Skyward Sword. Girls must really love the strong silent type, because just about every woman in the history of the Zelda universe wants a piece of this guy. There's this girl, this girl, this girl, that girl, this girl, and this girl, and that's not even including interesting characters like Tetra and Midna, who, while not explicitly in a relationship with Link, are some of the most compelling and endearing side companions he's had. But by far the biggest pairing between Link and Zelda that just makes my grown man exterior melt into a little girl is that in Skyward Sword. While their love is completely platonic, there's an overwhelmingly adorable set of interactions between them toward the beginning, where we see a more visible emotion from Link than we have, well, ever. I don't know if it's Zelda's bubbly demeanor, the game's visuals, or the music, but something in this game is tricking me into genuinely caring about this Zelda. Even though this Zelda is basically another damsel in distress at the beginning, I felt myself caring about her future with Link far more than any other Zelda. And toward the end of the game, there's even this touching gender-swapped Hercules moment where the deity decides to spend her life alongside the mere mortal. The only thing I'm missing is the kiss. Come on, Nintendo! You even let this guy get some Zelda action!
Maybe after our picnic, you'd be willing to give me a
Shut up and kiss me.
Number 5. Ash and Misty. I know what you're thinking. Do Ash and Misty even really count as a Nintendo couple? I mean, there doesn't seem to be much of a connection between this guy and this girl in the games, and the anime is really just an adaptation of a very non-story driven franchise. And to that I say, oh whoops, yeah, you're absolutely right. But you know what? Ash and Misty's dynamic is cute as heck, and I don't care what you think. Their relationship is founded on the ridiculous. He trashes her bike, and she wants a replacement, but they develop into a genuinely sweet, borderline romance that was a lot of fun watching when I grew up. Misty hates Ash's silly antics, and Ash hates her quick temper, but you can tell at several points throughout the anime that they really care for each other, ultimately culminating in by far some of the most touching moments of the series. While the past decade has slowly caused me to give up on the chances of Misty ever returning to the series, Misty and Ash is a relationship I will always look back on fondly.
Number 4.
Fox McCloud and Crystal. Crystal is the most sexual anthropomorphized character since Lola Bunny. Take from that what you will. The whole sexy animal thing isn't my thing, and as a side note, it is darn near impossible to avoid this stuff when searching for images for my Pokemon videos. But that being said, Crystal and Fox's relationship actually feels surprisingly real. Crystal kind of fits into the Star Fox universe as its Princess Leia. Sometimes a damsel, sometimes sexualized, but most of the time capable of handling physical jobs on her own. While her relationship with Fox in Adventures in Assault is pretty standard, things get pretty deep in Command. Fox, worried for Crystal's safety, forbids her to act with the Star Fox team and kicks her out. Crystal is pissed because she's more than capable of deciding when she can risk her own life and does what she can to continue serving justice in her own way. Command is weird in that it has multiple very distinct endings. Sometimes she gets back with Fox and they restart Star Fox. Sometimes Fox and Crystal have a child together and retire, sometimes Crystal joins Star Wolf, and sometimes Crystal disbands from everyone altogether and becomes a bounty hunter. While we haven't gotten a new Star Fox game since Command, leaving the true ending a mystery, Crystal and Fox is one of the few relationships in Nintendo games that actually feels, well, like a relationship.
Number 3.
Locke, Rachel, and Celeste. Final Fantasy III, 6, was one of the first RPGs that really hooked me on the genre, and Locke's emotional arcs were a huge factor behind it. It's revealed in Locke's past that he was deeply in love with a girl named Rachel, despite her father never approving of him. He goes treasure hunting with her to finally become her engagement ring, but thanks to his carelessness, Rachel suffers amnesia from a fall in the process of saving his life. Banished from his hometown, Locke learns in horror that Rachel was killed in an Empire raid. He finds a way to preserve her body, but she's essentially a vegetable that he can never talk to. Locke develops a personality for protecting women no matter what, but becomes torn between developing love for a new woman, Celeste, and trying to remain true to his first love, who is sort of technically alive. Only by finding a way to talk to her once more briefly, Harry Potter's Stone of Resurrection style, does she finally convince him to give his love to the new woman in his heart. Final Fantasy VI is one of the greatest classic RPGs to this date, and it dropped way too many feels for my young self to contain. I totally cried my eyes out.
Number 2.
Anyone You Want, and Fire Emblem. Well, we've gotten depressing. How about a happy relationship before I really ruin your day? Fire Emblem Awakening is a game that I have praised very highly in the past, my very favorite in 2013, and a small part of this is for one absurd reason. The game might be a strategic combat game, but it is without a doubt a romance simulator on the side. By allowing units to battle side by side, you control every couple that pairs during the heat of combat and their future children. And on top of that, you choose your own romantic partner, making this the perfect game to cheer up a lonely heart. Matchmaker, matchmaker, make me a match. Do you go for the clear story-based relationships, such as Sumia having a massive crush on Chrom? Or do you pair complete opposites, such as a really loud character with a really quiet one? Or do you pair a character with yourself because they have an overpowered ability? Or do you pair yourself with the 1,000-year-old dragon girl that for some reason looks like she's 10? Oh god, no! You're officially on an FBI list now! What have you done? You're going to jail! What have you done? Fire Emblem Awakening. You might go to jail.
Number 1.
Professor Layton and Claire. Want to have your heart broken this Valentine's Day special? Because your tear ducts are about to look like this. In Professor Layton, Unwound Future, the final game in the first trilogy, and technically the last chronologically, yeah, they literally did the exact same thing as Star Wars. Claire is revealed 10 years prior to be a hardworking scientist, and Professor Layton's sweetheart. She's even the reason Layton wears his signature hat. She seemingly dies in a horrific time machine accident, leaving Layton with a terrible past that he conceals pretty well. This starts to unwind when a girl who appears very much like Claire starts appearing to Layton, claiming to be Claire's long-lost sister Celeste. She eventually reveals that she is, in fact, the Claire he had known and loved, trapped in a state of limbo where she is simultaneously transported forward in time 10 years and dead from the explosion at the same time. Her body can't remain in the world of the living any longer, and she and Layton shared the absolute saddest goodbye ever. Look at this kiss. Ugh! Look how sad he is! Just look how sad he is! Oh god, no, he's gonna do it! Oh no, maximum sadness overdrive! He took the hat off. I can't handle it. I can't do this again! Layton is just the nicest guy ever. Always pleasant, always kind, always charming and likable. Layton is just too good of a person to deserve this. And while it is an absolute heartbreaker, for the same reason Titanic is so remembered by so many, Layton and Claire is by far my favorite Nintendo couple. Hopefully someday, Layton's heart will go on.
That's it for today's Nintendo Top 10, but if you loved my video, you can click here to subscribe to my channel and get updates when new videos are coming out. And speaking of Valentine's Day, how do you decide to celebrate this holiday? Click here if it's time with a loved one, or here if it's time in the shopping aisles getting all that awesome discount candy. However you decide to celebrate, there's a winning strategy on both ends, and I hope you guys have a great Valentine's Day.